A man worth $154 billion still lives in the same house he bought in 1958. For $31,500, he drives himself to work. He eats McDonald's for breakfast. And if someone had handed him $1,000 when he started and simply left it alone, that $1,000 would be worth over $1 million today. This video breaks down exactly how Warren Buffett built the largest personal investment fortune in human history. The rules he has followed since he was 11 years old. And the one concept he says most people completely ignore, that is quietly making some people rich and keeping everyone else exactly where they are. Stay until the end, because the last lesson is the one that will actually change how you think about money starting today. Warren Buffett was born in Omaha, Nebraska in 1930, the year after the stock market crash that triggered the Great Depression. His father, Howard, was a stockbroker. The family home was full of books about money and economics, and young Warren did not just leave them on the shelf. He read them. He absorbed them. He turned the pages of financial textbooks the way other kids read comic books, not because anyone made him, but because the subject fascinated him in a way that nothing else did. At 6 years old, he was buying packs of chewing gum and selling them door to door for a profit. At 11, he bought his first stock. 3 shares of City Service preferred at $38 each, purchased with money he had saved himself. The stock dropped almost immediately, and he sold it to cut his losses. It then surged to over $200 per share. That experience taught him something he never forgot. Patience is not a personality trait. It is a financial strategy. By 13, he was filing his own tax return. By 16, he had saved $6,000 from delivering newspapers and used part of it to buy farmland in Nebraska, leasing it out for income. He was not spending his teenage years thinking about what to buy. He was spending them thinking about what to own. That distinction between buying things and owning assets is the first rule of the Buffett method, and it is the one most people never grasp. Buying things removes money from your life permanently. Owning assets puts money back into your life repeatedly. Every dollar Buffett earned as a child went toward something that would generate more dollars. Every business he ran as a teenager was a machine he was building to work for him. He was not working for money. He was putting money to work for him. And he started doing it before most people his age had their first part-time job. Harvard rejected him. He applied to Harvard Business School in 1950 and was turned down at his admissions interview. He then enrolled at Columbia University, and that rejection turned out to be one of the most financially significant events of his life. Because Columbia is where he found Benjamin Graham. Graham was the father of value investing. His core idea was straightforward and radical at the same time. Most investors look at a stock and think about where its price is going. Graham said that was the wrong question entirely. The right question was whether the stock's price was higher or lower than the actual value of the business behind it. If a company was genuinely worth more than what the market was pricing it at, you bought it and waited. That was it. No predictions. No guesswork about market direction. Just the gap between price and value, and the patience to let that gap close. Buffett took that framework and spent his entire career refining it. He was not looking for stocks that would go up next month. He was looking for businesses that were genuinely good, temporarily undervalued, and worth owning for years. He was not trading. He was buying ownership stakes in real companies and holding them while the rest of the market chased whatever was exciting that week. He earned his first million by 1962. Through a series of investment partnerships he ran through his 20s. He did this by identifying companies trading below their real worth, investing in them quietly, and waiting. No television appearances, no predictions about market timing, just research, patience, and the discipline to do nothing while everyone else was doing something. In 1965, he took control of a struggling textile company called Berkshire Hathaway. The textile business itself eventually failed, but Buffett used its cash flows to buy insurance companies, then used the insurance company premiums to invest in more businesses, and kept doing this for 60 years until Berkshire Hathaway became a conglomerate worth over $1 trillion. He turned a failing textile mill into one of the most valuable companies in the history of capitalism. Not through a single brilliant bet, but through 60 years of the same boring, disciplined, unglamorous process applied consistently. The concept at the center of everything Buffett has ever done is compounding. And he described it in a shareholder meeting in 1999 using an image that is worth understanding properly. He said building wealth is like rolling a snowball down a very long hill. The snowball starts small. As it rolls, it picks up more snow. The more snow it picks up, the bigger it becomes, and the bigger it becomes, the faster it picks up even more snow. The key is the hill. The longer the hill, the larger the snowball gets. The trick, he said, is either starting very young or living long enough to let the hill do the work. That is not a metaphor. That is a mathematical description of what compound interest actually does over time. If a 22-year-old invests $10,000 at an 8% average annual return and adds $5,000 each year, by the time they reach 95, the portfolio is worth over $21 million. If that same person waits just 5 more years to start, the number drops by $6 million. 10 years of delay puts the final number under $10 million. The money did not change. The time did. And the time is the entire mechanism. Buffett's specific advice for ordinary people who do not want to spend their careers analyzing balance sheets is straightforward, and he has repeated it publicly for decades. Put money into a low-cost S&P 500 index fund. Do not try to pick individual stocks unless you are willing to do the research properly. Do not try to time the market. Do not move money in and out based on news cycles or economic predictions. Add to it consistently and leave it alone. He said at the 2021 Berkshire annual meeting that, in his view, for most people, owning an S&P 500 index fund is the best thing they can do. The man who has spent his life studying individual stocks is telling ordinary investors not to try to do what he does. He also has a rule about debt that he has held for his entire life. He said in a 1991 speech that he had seen more people fail because of leverage than because of any other single factor. Borrowed money feels like it accelerates wealth building when prices are going up. When prices go down, it accelerates destruction instead, and the destruction moves faster than the growth. Ever did. His own lifestyle is perhaps the most striking part of the whole story. He has a salary from Berkshire Hathaway of $100,000 a year. Not a typo? $100,000 annually. For a man worth $154 billion. He has lived in the same Omaha house since Eisenhower was president. He drives himself. He eats breakfast at McDonald's and has described his order varying based on how the market is doing that morning. The man who could afford to own everything chooses to own almost nothing that does not produce more money. That is the thing most people miss when they study Buffett. They look at the $154 billion and try to reverse engineer the stock picks. The stock picks are not the story. The story is a child in Omaha who understood at 11 years old that patience is the rarest and most valuable asset a person can own, and who spent the next 80 years proving it. He is 94 years old. He is still showing up to the office. The snowball is still rolling. If this changed how you think about money, subscribe to the channel for more of this kind of breakdown. Share it with someone who needs to hear the snowball story. And hit the like button if you made it to the end, because the end is where the lesson actually lives.